fans and listeners, you have another new episode of Watch Skip Plus. We want to be your go-to source for insightful and pop-cultured movie reviews. My name is Jose, also known as Cupcake. I'm joined by my co-host, Mike the Wildebeest. And if you are joining us, if you did not see the tag in the beginning warning you that there are spoilers, this is the spoiler discussion of 2026's Dolly, directed by Rod Blackhurst, starring Fabianne Therese and Sean William Scott and Max the Impaler. So if you have not listened to our spoiler-free review, you're going to want to do that. Check out our 2026 spoiler-free playlist. That's where you'll find it. And here we go. We are going to spoil Dolly. Okay, so I did not like this.
You didn't like this. So I'm really excited to talk about some of these twists because...
Yeah, go for it. What twist do you want to talk about?
I liked that it went barbarian on us. I really did. I liked that the movie really is Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Barbarian. It really is. Yeah. And you can't say anything about it because it ruins the whole experience. So you've already seen this, or if you just don't want to see it. You just want to hear about the gore because my guy over there scared you away from it. We're going to get into the gore.
Yeah. So I get the barbarian, but one of my
I loved that twist.
One of my chief complaints about this movie is that it takes so much from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Right? Not only the sort of photography, the woodsy photography, the running photography, but even the
60
house.
millimeter, it's filmed in 16.
16.
The
even
house,
the house
scene,
looks
though,
like.
That looked gorgeous. I loved that wonderful shot when she's dragging the body, when Dolly's dragging the body and we see the house. Fuck, there is some beautiful
CGI.
No, it's just wonderful. It's just 60 millimeter. They just blew that sucker up and they used
like a horrible special effect. Although I have to tell you that the house, I do like that the house visually kind of looks like the house where they dropped the kid off to be babysat. And I kind of was like, oh, it's like mommy got an alternate reality here, right? So like we said before, there is some artistry here. Like, I'm not going to completely knock Blackhurst. Like, they know what they're doing, right? But I just feel like the house looked too much like it. There's a basement. There's all these shots where Dolly is very much Gunnar Hansen, totally pulling her, grabbing her, throwing her around and stuff like that. And then the ending when she drives away, I'm like, okay, not only is she bloody like the woman in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but then she starts laughing hysterically. And I'm like, oh my God.
Exactly
why?
Like TCM.
Why? And so not only does that kind of like pull me out of it that I was kind of angry about, but it also is it's just Texas Chainsaw Massacre rejiggered. Instead of the crazy dinner scene with the family, it's split because there is a twist with the family here, which we'll get into later. But the scene where she pisses herself and then Dolly brings her to the kitchen and then changes her diaper or whatever. Like, I love that. I mean, listen, she starts to cry. Yeah, she starts to cry. And that was really, really good. That was like intense. It's an R. I feel like the film could have gone further with that scene and made it much more uncomfortable. Like, as you know, you and I, we talk about like not saying like, oh, the director should have done this, but like, why not see Dolly do a wipey of her Virginia? Why not see her hold her legs up more and see, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like the film wants to go that extra step, but then it doesn't, right? It's telegraphing all of this grindhouse, grimy shit, and then it only goes so far.
Well, the film makes a decision to make Dolly not the real villain. Dolly is a creation from her father and from abuse. So I liked that she didn't go as far because, again, this is a mentally disturbed human. And I get some of that stimming stuff is kind of offensive to those who have, autism and on the spectrum. But I think that they were trying to do was show that this character, while being violent, was not because of the stimming or whatever. Everything that's happening with the mental illness is because of the father and because of what they've gone through, and they've been turned into a killer. And is that kind of what they do with Leatherface? It depends upon what version. I don't think that's what they were trying to do in the first, but that's very much what they do do in this, is they make the decision to make Dolly sympathetic. And I liked that. I did. There was enough things that made this different from Texas Chainsaw Massacre that I dug it. And I liked the mask a lot. I loved that freaking mask. Such a cool concept.
We'll get back to the mask, but you had brought up the stimming, and that's what I found kind of offensive about it.
And I could see that, and I saw lots of reviews of people saying that did offend them, folks with autism. I did not take my kid with autism to it.
So immediately, the costuming is very strange because at one point when you're looking at it, it almost looks like an apron or whatever. You were saying it's Raggedy Ann. Yeah, I completely get that.
Ann look.
But they're also wearing pants, and you can't tell until the boob comes out. You don't know the sex of Dolly, right? But before the titty comes out, sorry, I keep saying titty, but before that comes out, we get the stimming stuff, which, you know, like you brought up, this character, I don't know so much that they were leaning into the sympathy of it. It's just that they were kind of this like simple creature that kind of like goes down after being stabbed by the tiniest fucking pocket knife I have ever seen in my goddamn life. Like, that's what Sean William Scott brought for camping. It's literally like the size of my penis, folks. It's tiny.
Get out of here.
It's small as shit. And then she like stabs him with it, Dolly, and then
Luckily
Dolly
got
like,
an artery. Luckily
and
got
then
an
Dolly
artery.
like falls out after like this tiny. You'll feel me, whatever. Anyway, but in addition to the stimming, we are treated to the vision of like Dolly kind of like, you know, creeping around, almost like effeminate
doing
kind of like,
doing.
And then all the while we get this audio of like this baby like,
I know, that's the only sound.
And I'm like,
I found it
annoying.
creepy. And I know you said you didn't find it scary. I liked the slow boil vibe of this. I did get scared by it. I felt that like kind of like weight of creepiness, and my skin pimples were coming out, you know, the goosebumps. It was
skin pimples. Yes, the goosebumps.
Whatever.
But
yeah, they just went, my hair
here's
went up.
The thing
I liked it.
Here's the thing with all of those dolls, though. I'm sorry.
That was dumb.
After Magic with Anthony Hopkins and Chucky, I think I'm over my scary doll phase, and Annabelle. I think I'm over it. And so
I'm over hanging a bunch of things in the woods. Don't hang things. Nobody, no killer or no murderers are really going around and hanging a whole bunch of shit in the woods, a la Blair Witch or whatever.
I know,
that's
exactly.
Such a stupid trope. Yes, I know it's tropey. This movie is supposed to be, but that one didn't work for me. And of course, all those dolls, I know what they were going for, but that didn't really scare me. What I did like was that kind of, it brings that aggressive, kind of dirty, nasty, you could smell it, you could feel it, that I got last time I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre in theaters, and I felt that here again. And I like that about it, but it's gory, right? This is gory compared to a lot of Texas Chainsaw Massacres. I mean, let's talk about what I think is probably the best bit of practical effects, which is the face rip.
Oh my God. So we mentioned this before. Sean William Scott is arguably the most recognizable actor in this. And we get the whole thing where in the beginning of the film, he's like, oh, I'm going to propose to her. I did love this touch in the screenplay where while he's talking to the aunt about proposing to her, because he has a little daughter and they're going to go away, we cut to the lead in the car and she's like, I've seen the ring. He's going to do it. What do I do? And she's like, can I say no? I want to say no.
I'm not a mother.
Like,
that was the big thing. She's not a mother. And that was the concept, is going through this hell, you know, of being treated like a baby, and all that Dolly wanted to do was be a mother, and she has no desire to be a mother. And then there's those weird, like almost dream sequences of Sean William Scott daughter like running around in the woods, and
that was really. I
understood what they were doing
as well. Yeah, but
it's basically her realizing, I think at the end, that, and of course she wanted the ring.
She wants a life with him.
Yeah, she wanted a life with him, and she realized, I want to be a mother now. I did that. Yeah. That's what I think that was supposed to show. Again, it's a very small budget movie.
And you know, when she jumps out the window, right? That's kind of like
cool. I loved that.
That's kind of like her being reborn.
Yes.
Actually, I'm taking the piss. I'm sorry.
You hated that.
I usually get
highfalutin
red on that stuff, but then she jumps out the window. But so we get the psycho moment because Sean William Scott, this is so weird. He's ready to propose to her, and he ostensibly puts a camera up. I think he's going to like video it or whatever. And then they hear the creepy ding dong, ding, you know, from like the Hasbro wind up like, you know, baby doll thing, right? Mm-hmm. So he goes, and then the Dolly, whose weapon of choice is a shovel, ends up breaking his leg, which is like, oh my God. So puts the shovel down on it and then digs her foot on it and smashes it. But then he starts screaming, and I guess Dolly's like, I don't like that noise. And so she takes the shovel and then kind of goes like this, and his jaw rips off, right?
And the effect is so cool. Like the beard is still there, and it's like hanging like in two pieces.
It's kind of amazing, actually. The practical effects is really good. But immediately I was taken out of the movie because while they're proposing, they hear the ding, 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 right? But then when his jaw gets ripped off and he yells and screams, she doesn't hear it. Because the next scene is her like, Chase, where are you?
Where did you go?
What?
Yeah.
And then you say, flash forward into the movie, and he's still alive, folks. His jaw is hanging off, and he's still
crawling
alive.
like a mile to that house. He's still alive. He crawls his way over there and somehow stands himself up and starts screaming. I don't know how. Well,
he didn't. So he didn't stand himself up. I mean, he forgot that his leg was broken, so he tries to stand himself up, and then he's like, and then like falls over. Like, okay, that was an effective sequence, yes. But then he shows up. He crawls his way there, only to die. So I kind of like that they stretched that out.
Only for Dolly to just finally just rip the jaw right off, and I loved that.
Oh my God, that was crazy.
And I loved all the practical effects, and I did not see any CGI. And I mean, apparently, accordingly, he says there's no CGI in it. They used old cameras. There's no like the adding of that stuff is, from what I understand, was not done in post. It was naturally there. So when they blew it up, it looked naturally poppy like that. But I don't know. It did seem kind of CGI-ish, and that kind of bugged me. So I did do some research. Apparently, there was no CGI post on that kind of.
Really?
But it looks like it.
Because that house looks like something out of like fucking Stranger Things.
They just really knew how to
upside down.
They knew how to work that 16 millimeter camera, because at times it felt like you were in a dream sequence. And then when they were doing those big open scenes of the Tennessee mountains, I love that kind of almost blurry, like you're looking at a piece of art, like a painting. And I love that about the 16
I hate to say this,
choice.
but the drone shots at the tops of the trees, I was like, all I could see was broccoli. I don't know why. I was like, it looks like broccoli. But okay, so let's
drones,
go back.
Did they attach a 16 millimeter to the drone? They had to have, because
they had to have.
It was cool. There's a lot of artistry with this kind of movie. If you're into
there's
that
some
kind of
good
stuff.
Cinematography. I for something to reflect Grindhouse and look like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, sure. I just feel like they lifted too much of it. I don't know. The mask is kind of cool, but I think, and I could be wrong about this, but what you are seeing from the mask is the damage that other victims have done to it. Right? Because I was wondering, why is it so raggedy and kind of bloody underneath? What are all the scratches and things like that?
Do we even know if she's had other victims? I think
so.
In the beginning, we think that what she's holding is a body that she's killed, but that's just her mother who.
It is her mother, but like, I don't know. Maybe she's buried other victims, but but we do know that there was another man that was in there. We'll talk about that twist in a second. But I think what is kind of cool about the mask, even if it didn't work for me, was that, she eventually ends up breaking it. And that's where I was like, oh, that's why it's so weathered and scratchy and the neck is weird. It's because it's been the damage from
it's porcelain
other potential
and it was cutting
victims.
Her neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
It's cool. I like that. I did. And I like the way that the one eye was like all had that whole really cool design work throughout. that really worked for me.
But I also love that there are some moments of horror that are done really, really well. So we talked about the diaper scene, and then also the scene where she does break the mask, and you can kind of see
a
Dolly's
dirty gray face.
not
Ooh.
so much. Yeah, it's scary. And then when I'm just gonna do it again, when Dolly pulls out the titty, because she has fed her.
She won't eat anything.
What looks like
rotten milk, rancid.
And feeds her chunky goddamn milk in a bottle. That was definitely horrific.
And then she throws up.
Like, here you go. Here's the titty or whatever. And then she bites it. Oh my
I know. And then
God.
she's like licking it and sucking it. The next thing you know, bite, and then it tears apart. I love the way that it looked as she was tearing out of her teeth and the blood coming. There's so many cool things like that, yes, while the pacing at times was slow, and yes, it's very tropey and very much like everything we see. There's so many little flashes of things like that I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Yes, they're doing that. Yes, they're going there. Yes, they went in places that I wish, the TCM pushed boundaries as much as I could, right, in the 70s, but it's not 2026. Nowadays, we can push boundaries even further, and they did. They pushed a lot of boundaries, and I know that you felt like it was maybe a bit safe. I think in this post-Terrifier world, we all think everything is safe in comparison to that, especially because some reviews were saying this was like Terrifier. It's not that gleefully gory, and
no, but I think we can all gather that when a goofy, nerdy, cute looking guy with headphones shows up, he is dead meat.
Yeah.
Because he gets killed, and that whole like truck sequence with the keys and stuff, it didn't work for me. I
was
doing
this where thing. Yeah. I like that when Dolly did that. Where.
And then she pulls up the head. She's like,
and she's like,
peekaboo, or whatever.
That's so stupid and fun.
Okay, so the twist. Do you want to set up the twist for the friends?
Yeah, so we and then also we didn't mention when we first see I can't remember her name, our lead female, and she's after she gets kidnapped and brought to the house, she's just like hanging in this like,
oh my God, she's like stuffed in a crib,
and her legs are like, arms are out. It's so cool the way they placed her in
Actually,
there.
You know what I think is kind of funny, more along those lines too, when Dolly puts her in like the high chair or whatever. Later in the film, when she tries to free herself, she's literally stuck in the chair. She has to pull her ass out of it, which I thought that was a great touch right there.
Yeah, lots of cool touches there. But yeah, so then
so she shows up
when she wakes up, she hears a voice. This is another trope. There's other people that have been kidnapped is what we're thinking. So the whole time we're thinking that Dolly is this murderous, rampaging killer that's just out killing everybody. Instead, Dolly is really grieving that her mother was, I imagine, killed by her father. They don't really explain it, but we first see Dolly holding a headless body, covered in blood and crying. And so we are almost thinking that this was her last child that she tried to raise or whatever. That's what we're thinking is happening. But I think really is that her mother and her were abused really bad by this voice, who we find out is Ethan Suplee and is actually the father. And of course, as she could have just got out, but she promises to save this person. And as she does it, then realizes that he's the bad guy all along. He grabs her, threatens to kill her, and then Dolly's like, no, don't kill my, of course Dolly doesn't speak, but I like the pantomiming. I think that, again, a great performance, and the stuff like whenever like Pete the Panther did bad things, it was this finger wagging and waving. And even though I couldn't see the face, I'm imagining this, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
There was so many movements that just made you get what was going on. And again, going back to how they were treated, they were treated that same way. They were abused, they were beaten, they were treated like shit as a child, unfortunately. So a lot of that's the twist, is that instead of this really, I saw it as Dolly is not a psycho killer. Dolly was having a funeral and was grieving mom, and here comes this idiot to ruin her quote unquote funeral, and that pissed Dolly off, and Dolly killed him. I don't think Dolly was out there really killing and collecting bodies. It's just me. The movie doesn't make it seem like that, and I think that the reality is that Dad was the villain all along. Or after he killed the mom, I'm guessing they don't put it all together for us, but I'm guessing she then knocked him out and tied him up and put him in that room. to pee in bottles while she
I
grieved.
mean, listen,
and that's how that's what I saw from it.
But your take on the script, yeah, now I can see why you were saying that it's trying to make her empathetic, because you are right. We're thinking that body in the beginning is like the last doll that pissed her off or whatever.
But in reality, I think that twist shows that no, what we really see is this was a poor girl that was disturbed and beaten. And yeah, I love when Ethan Suplee gets his just desserts to a great face smashing sequence.
Oh my God.
Wonderful.
And actually, you know what? That was the scene where I was like, I feel like I should be seeing more from her in terms of her reaction. Like you're seeing a head get smashed in front of you. I know he wasn't a good guy and he tried to kill you, but it's still as horrific as everything else.
And at that point, we see Dolly snaps. And that's when they do this kind of stuff. It seems like they're chasing. They really want to just kill her at this point. I feel like the character has done the ultimate, killed her father, and she's now just like, well, I'm a killer now. Let's fucking kill this bitch. So that's what.
Right. And
that's
then,
what
and
ends
then
up
we
happening.
then we get a ton of that shit of, I'm going to knock him out, and then I'm going to, stand over them and be like, rah, 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 and then
there was the whole thing about the ring, just wanting to get the wedding ring back, because the Dolly took the pretty ring and put it on her finger, and she wanted that ring. So there was a lot of things like running up the stairs. Don't ever do that. I hate when they do that in movies, but it is a trope. Stabbing with that little tiny knife. Stab, stab, stab. Don't stab and let go. Every time. Stab and let go. Go, 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 go. How many times do we watch horror movies? Yes, that stuff bugs us, and it is tropey, and it is kind of purposely put in there, I felt like. But especially when they stabbed with that big like shears that she was cutting her mom's fingers off. They should have went,
stabs her, and then Dolly falls on the bed, and then she runs. I'm like, no, keep killing.
Stabbing.
Yeah. Total tropey. Tropey. At any rate, anything else to discuss?
I think that's it. She stabs her, leaves, and then gets into a car and drives off. And
after the poor park ranger
does the
gets
whole
killed,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing, and laughs as she's driving off, and that's the end. I have fun with it.
So let me ask you this.
There was did you stay for the post-credit scene?
Yes, I did. Which was really, I'm like, what are we doing here? I don't know. That was so
maybe
strange.
We're going to get more of those guys in a sequel if we get a sequel. I'm all in for a sequel.
Do you want a sequel?
Yeah, I would love to. I think this is a great character design. Let's do more with it. Let's see, now that she's completely psycho crazy now, the end shows that she's still alive, so let's have her go and kick some ass. I want some more Dolly. I want some more gory, bloody mayhem. So let's bring it on. I like the look of it. And I think, like, when I first saw Terrifier, I was like, this clown is going to be huge. I feel the same way with this character. I think that Dolly is going to be huge. It might take 10 years for it to get that way, like it did for the Terrifier. I don't think Terrifier really took off till post-pandemic. But the first film came out 2015 or something.
Well, so Art had been featured in at least 2 other anthology films as well. So, but I don't need another Dolly experience.
You do.
Sorry. No, I don't.
But do you need another Terrifier? Yes, we do.
No,
I love this kind of stuff. Give them to me. I want all the bloody gory.
You know what I need? I need another mean one. That's what anyway.
Okay. No, you do not. There's a documentary about the making of that's popping around.
Oh my God. Whatever. Red, I still hate you for dragging me to that. Anyway. All right. So there's a pod roll. You guys can just check out the pod roll and the spoiler free. We love our Podfathers, Gentleman's Guide to Midnight Cinema and Not a Bomb, and of course the OG's Night of the Living podcast. So at any rate, we have a live coming up soon, and then next week could be Slanted, could be what looks like a White Noise remake. I don't know. Undertone, we'll see.
We'll see what we get in our theaters. Anyways, thanks for joining us, everybody. Continue to go and see theater Go and see live theater, live music, live TV, or live TV. live.
There is live TV. The Oscars
I guess
is
it's
live
still
TV. Yeah.
Are there still like shows that are like filmed in front of a live audience? Is that done anymore?
Saturday Night Live. That seems to be about it.
I guess Saturday Night Live, huh? Oh, and then the talk shows. I guess the daytime talk shows still do.
Today and stuff like that. I mean, there's that, right? Yeah. So at any rate, folks, yes, please save Exhibition. I know people are like, I don't think I want to go see Scream 7 because I didn't like the other movies. But you know what? You do that to enough movies, nobody goes to the theater. So please get a
Watch
Regal
our Scream
app.
7 review.
That's something, yes. Please do so. We had a great guest. Okay.
Yeah, we had a great guest. Go watch that and watch our live that is on the YouTube right now. It's there.
Yeah.
So go watch our live if you didn't see it live.
Oscars this year, it's going to be a battle. Even if you didn't see these films, it's nice to see what gets the awards because I think there's more mainstream films in this Oscar than there has ever been, quite honestly. So, yeah, please tune in for that. All right, everybody, as usual, be kind, be vulnerable.
That's where the art is.
Be kind, be open. I messed it up. Be kind, be open, be vulnerable. That's where the art is. See, you got it. There you go. Okay. All right, everybody. See you on the other side.
Bye.
Bye.